Hawk Nation, and thanks for joining me for Hawk Talk. I'm your host, Davin Garcon, and coming up later on the show, we'll have special guest Duke A.B., who's here to talk about his latest busking feat, flaming chainsaw juggling. But first, it used to be that tipping was a way of showing appreciation to your server for extraordinary service, but nowadays, tipflation, as it's being called, is getting a bit out of control. It's being forced upon its customers, and not only in restaurants, but in places you may have never expected to see, like tip jars, like convenience stores, drive-thrus, and even washrooms. This is true. I was at a club recently getting my groove thing on, and I had to use the restroom. When I approached the counter to wash my hands, a man was sitting there on a high stool who turned on the tap for me, dispensed the soap, and handed me a paper towel to wash my hands with. After awkwardly allowing him to do this, I noticed a tip jar beside him. First of all, having some stranger sitting in the washroom all night long watching people come and go is beyond creepy and is a whole other topic for another monologue. But to expect a tip for something that I can do and would prefer to, be honest, do myself is lunacy. The other day I went to a Starbucks drive-thru to get a medium black coffee. I refused to say grande, which is cost enough as is, and when I get to the prompt to pay on the debit machine, it asks how much I would like to leave a tip. You want a tip for handing me my coffee. Did you grow and pick the coffee beans yourself? This coffee is already costing me an arm, a leg, and now you want my torso. Back in the day, a customary tip for good service at a restaurant would have been around 15%. And now it's common to see prompts on the payment machine for 18%, 24%, and 30%. Rather than handling a $10 or $20 bill to your server after a good meal, you're prompted to leave a tip with your card payment. We all know that most people don't carry physical cash on them anymore, which is why we're seeing more and more prompts when playing with our cards to avoid that awkwardness. But there is something unsettling about leaving a tip electronically without truly knowing where it's going. Tips often make up for the low wages the service industry is paid for doing their job. But why does the responsibility fall on us and not the companies themselves? Everyone is going through tough economic times, and to be expected to tip people for handing you a coffee out of a window seems a bit much. Now, all this being said, I am a sucker for funny signs on actual tip jars at counters, and you can be sure I'll leave my dimes and quarters in them when I see a good one. Check these out. Afraid of change? Leave it here. Hello, is it me you're tipping for? Help, send my cat to ninja school. All tips support this sloth's astronaut training program. Please support his dream. Tipping, it's not just for cows. Coming up after the break, Duke A.B. is here to talk about his latest busking routine, juggling with chainsaws. Don't go anywhere.
The moment is here. To rise, to thrive, to prove the haters wrong, to prove yourself right. Humber is ready for you to bring it. Your bold ideas, your big dreams, your unique talents. So bring it to class. Bring it after class. Bring it to the field. Bring it in the field. We'll cheer you on from your first class, first hands-on learning experience, and throughout your time at Humber. We'll bring you choices. We'll bring you opportunities. We'll bring you support for all of your possibilities. It's about how you see things and everything that makes you, you. So step onto campus and start your future. Whatever it holds, we'll help you prepare. So you'll be ready, like really ready, to take on whatever the world brings. All you have to do is bring it. We are Humber.
Welcome back, Hawk Nation. Now, our next guest is a busker. And for those who don't know what busking is, that's a person that performs music or some other form of entertainment on the streets for money, kind of like tips. He's been known to frequent Young Dundas Square, and his latest act is cutting edge, you might say. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Duke AB. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today. It was hard to find the time to book you in on the show. I guess you can say you're a hot commodity.
Happy to be here. Although I do miss the warmth my flaming chainsaw provides me, it's freezing down here. Did you guys forget to pay the heating bill or something?
Yeah, it's an icebox. I know we're told it's to keep the equipment from being damaged. It's just something we have to live with. Now tell me, how did you first get into busking?
Well, I've always been interested in working in the entertainment industry. My father works for the traveling fair.
Oh, so he's a carny.
No, he's an entertainer. They don't like being called carnies. He started at the Ringtoast booth, but over the years he worked his way up to the performance stage, getting to play his trade as a magician. After I saw him perform his patented Got Your Nose trick on kids in my town, that's when I got the itch. That's when I knew that performing was my calling.
Where did you get your first start? Did you start at the fair working alongside your dad?
My dad is a bit of a toughie. He didn't want me to embarrass him at his place of work, so I had to get my feet wet at school talent shows. I started at my elementary school, and then once I got to high school, I had made a quiet name for myself, and other schools started calling me to perform. Once I graduated, that's when I got my big break.
And what was your big break?
I was walking downtown Toronto and came across a busker. He was doing tricks on his unicycle. You should have seen it. The crowd was going wild. Long story short, he was performing a bit too close to the road and a big delivery truck came speeding by and side view mirror clipped him and he went flying. Broke his leg, his shoulder, and few ribs. The EMS came and stretched him away, but they left his unicycle behind. Having had some experience with a unicycle in school, I decided this was my chance. I got up on the unicycle and the rest is history.
Wow, that is quite a journey. So your new routine, juggling with a chainsaw on fire, what was the genesis of that idea? It seems a bit dangerous.
It's extremely dangerous. See these hints right here? The first time I tried this trick, sliced already off its holster, almost took the lives of a few pedestrians walking by while I was practicing too. But you ask how I came up with the idea. Well, any regular schmack can juggle 3 balls in the air, and I wanted to separate myself from the normies by doing something different. And I thought, might as well go big or go home, so I grabbed the chainsaw and never looked back.
That's incredible. What does the future hold for you? Have you considered juggling with other dangerous power tools?
I'm actually working on a new bit where I'm standing on a table and saw juggling the flaming chainsaw.
Clearly, you are much braver than I am. I'm afraid to even juggle apples in the kitchen in fear of dropping one and bruising it on the floor. Duke AP, I'd like to thank you for coming in today.
Wait, you don't want me to perform my routine on set today?
No. We couldn't get the insurance permits to allow that to happen. And quite frankly, I know you are a professional, but I don't trust anyone tossing flaming chainsaws in the air, and I like to keep all my limbs. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause for Duke AB. That's all the time we have for today's show. Join us next week and we'll have competitive eater Johnny Jefferson and talk about his upcoming competition and what got him into this disgusting profession. Thanks for joining us. Hawk Nation, Hawk Loud, Hawk Proud, good night.